Hey YouTube, today is AB between the Harley Benton SG. Model is Harley Benton DC-580 CH versus the Epiphone SG Pro Custom Shop. It's a 2014, brand new, still has the stickers on it and everything. Okay, so I've measured them. I've done everything except plugged them in and had a shootout into an amp, but I will do that right after this. I'll either pause and include that in this video, or it'll be a part 2. So they're pretty identical. I got this last week. I did a couple videos on it, unboxing and some comparisons and some I swapped this pickup, so I did a video of that too. So yeah, I received that last week. Last night I brought it to rehearsal and played for the first time, and I'm gonna play this on stage. I can't wait until beginners and kids see that you can play a $150 guitar, and for a lot of people, and it'll sound just as good as your expensive guitars. This is my son's Epiphone. So in 2016 I had a bad motorcycle accident, and while I was pretty much in a coma, some friends held a benefit for me, and my son's friend went and they raffled off this guitar. And so my friend's son won, and my son bought it from him, and he's had it since, and it hasn't been played. It was donated by, I believe it was donated by a music store. And so it is a 2014, so it was already 2 years old when they raffled it, when they held the benefit. So yeah, it is this SG Pro custom shop. It has the Alnico Classic Pros. It has push-pull pots. I measured the impedance on all the pickups, and I'll be letting you know what all the numbers are shortly. So yeah, it says coil tapping, and then it says humbucker single coil. That's not tapping. Tapping is when they take a feed from or to the pickup in a different place than at the end of the actual coil. So they tap into it before it's full powered, sort of, for lack of proper terminology. So yeah, it's coil splitting if it splits between humbucker and single coil. It's coil tapping if it takes the feed, a secondary feed, without using all of the wraps, the coils. And I have an Epiphone Les Paul Access Alex Lifeson model, and Epiphone says that it has coil splitting because it has push-pull pots, and Epiphone says that it's for coil splitting, but it's actually it's not splitting or tapping. What's going on that one is that it's a switch between the two coils being wired in series or parallels in each pickup, so it doesn't split between a humbucker and a single coil. It selects between having the two coils in one pickup wired in series or in parallel, so that gives you a different amount of gain or power, or I'm not sure how to say that either. Measuring these, it appears that they are coil splitting, and you'll see why when I tell you the numbers. So let's talk about the quality and the difference in the two models. First of all, the tuners, the machines on this guitar are really not great at all. They're tiny, little, they don't feel good, they're not smooth. So that's definitely one difference. But it has binding on the neck, and it's real binding. You can see the joint there, and there's a little bit of a gouge. That was one of the blemishes from the factory that I pointed out in the unboxing video, I believe. So yeah, bound fretboard and crappy tuners. This one has the nice tuners that actually work well, but it's not a bound fretboard. The neck isn't bound, and there's a little bit of sprout. Some of these are a little sharp on the end. I'm going to sand them down for my kid. The nut width is the same on both. The scale length is the same, so they're Gibson scale length, 24 and 3/4 inch, and this is 1 and 11/16, I believe. I'd have to. That's the only number I don't think I wrote down. All right, so before we get into the numbers and stuff, one difference that I noticed right away was the Epiphone body is wider than the neck, so it's got that step there, and this one doesn't. It's flush. So the width of this piece of the guitar, where the neck heel joins, this is a lot wider than this. So yeah, that's one weird thing. This is also, the Epiphone has a scarf joint, so that's where, the factory will get their chunks of mahogany that are not this tall, because it's cheaper, and usually not wide enough to make the headstock. So see, they glue on extra pieces to make things wider to make them cheaper. And there's no, it's not a bad thing to have a scarf joint there for the heel. A lot of guitars have a scarf joint here too, where the whole headstock is a separate piece. This looks like one piece, but that's another place that it isn't worse to have a scarf joint. In fact, having one here might benefit, because Gibson's, their headstock angle is such that they're notorious for breaking headstocks. You look at a Les Paul and the headstock snaps off. So some people will say that having a scarf joint there actually strengthens it. This one has a scarf joint here, not up here, which is kind of strange. They must be buying shorter slabs or chunks. And I don't see a joint on the heel. So, and yeah, I played this at rehearsal, so it's all covered in sweat and stuff. Sorry about that. I should have cleaned it first for you, but I didn't. Alright, so not sure how many pieces this neck is. It looks like maybe only 2. Yeah, I don't see any wings glued onto that. And this one in total, 2 plus the fretboard would be 3, I suppose, but this one has a joint, 2 joints up here, actually. Maybe not on this side. That's weird. Maybe they only glued one on there. So let's say 1, 2, 3, plus the fretboard is 4. The other thing about the necks are the material. So this is maple. It's a maple neck, not a mahogany neck. And this is, they say it's mahogany, but it's sapele or another African mahogany, which doesn't exist, because all mahogany, real mahogany, comes from South and Central America, not Africa. So African mahogany is not mahogany. They're lying. That's irritating. The other irritating thing is when people always call this an input jack. No, signal doesn't go into the guitar. A jack does, but signal comes out. That's an output jack. It sends the guitar's information to an amplifier, it's not an input. And everybody calls coil split coil tapping. No, coil split and coil tapping are not the same thing, and they use the wrong word there. Okay, maple neck, sapele or African mahogany neck. The fretboards, I did a little research, and all I could find out was that they either used rosewood or Sao Paulo. What's that word? Pau Ferro. this fretboard is maple. The neck's maple and the fretboard's maple. And it's roasted maple or something to make it look dark. I oiled it. And so that, and I did some filing, so I did cut into the fretboard a tiny bit, or abrase it. That's not a coating on the surface. The wood, that's the color of the maple. So I'm not sure how they did that. I did read somewhere that it was roasted or something similar to that, but point is, yeah, you can see the glue that I didn't completely scrape off because it doesn't bother me. All right, so maple, Pau Ferro, or rosewood fretboard, mahogany neck, maple neck, the body wood. The Harley Benton has a maple body. No, what the hell is it again? Yeah, isn't that what they said? No, oh God, why? I wish I could rewind it. Basswood, dummy. Basswood, African mahogany. So the basswood, it's hard. It looks like one piece. You can see a line there, but that could just be a dark line of the grain. Has knots in it. But it almost looks like one piece. And I mean, it's not an exotic, expensive, rare wood, so you could see it not being made of a bunch of cheap pieces until earlier I saw a definite line, definitely almost positive that there it is. There's the line right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's a perfectly vertical line right here. And yeah, there you can see it. And the green seems to change on either side of that line. So, I don't know, hard to tell. Pickups. So I pulled, I explained why in the other video, one of the videos where I was showing how I changed these, how to change your pickups. There was that Epiphone Les Paul, Alex Lifeson Les Paul, had the Epiphone USA Pro Buckers, a Pro Bucker 3 in the bridge and a Pro Ceramic in the neck position. And I actually really liked those pickups, but still I changed the bridge to a Seymour Duncan Custom. So this is the Pro Bucker, did I say Burst Bucker? Pro Bucker 3 from the Epiphone Les Paul Access, Alex Lifeson. And after I took the stock Harley Benton pickup out, I measured the impedance and it was like 15.5K. And this thing was like 9 something. So I was like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have changed those, because now the neck pickup will probably way overpower the bridge pickup. Well, I'll explain more soon. Anyway, so this is the stock Harley Benton pickup. This is an Epiphone USA Pro Bucker 3. And these are the Pro Alnico Classics. So those will surely say Epiphone USA on the back. And so, pickguard, small pickguard on this one. I'm not an SG expert yet, because this is my first SG. But apparently the 61 to 65s had the small pickguard, and after 65 had the big pickguard. There's one called a Batman pickguard, but I'm not sure if it doesn't look like Batman to me, so it's clearly a different one. So yeah, this is, I read a lot of things that this is a 66 reissue, this SG Pro 2014. And yeah, custom shop. I did read up a little bit about what that means, and it means either they actually did have Epiphone did have a custom shop up until sometime in 1980, but now custom shop Epiphone means that it's limited edition or a signature model. All right. I mentioned the Epiphone having the coil split. These ones are just tone, volume, pickup selection. These don't pull or push. They're one wire, the ground and the hot. Okay, so these Alnico Pro Classics measured. The neck one is the bridge is 8.33 and the neck is 7.76. 8.33, 7.76. When you split the bridge pickup, it is 4.25K, and when you split the neck, it is 3.92K. When you have both pickups selected in full humbucker mode, it is 4.25K, and in the middle position with both pickups split, it measures 2.24. That's crazy. And the Harley Benton, like I mentioned, I put a ProBucker, Epiphone ProBucker 3 in there, and it measured 8.47. These are measurements that I took with the cable through the pots. They were cranked, but it's not a true representation, but it still shows the difference. Okay, so yeah, that bridge pickup is 8.47. The neck, the stock Harley Benton is 7.88, and the middle position is 4.08. So pretty close. This is 8.33. This is 8.47. This is 7.76. This is 7.88. 4.25 with both pickups on. 4.08 with both pickups. So the impedance is really, really close on both guitars. And like I said, I haven't yet plugged this one in to compare A to B, but I will. 24 frets. Hello. The Harley Benton has 24 frets, and normal SG just has 22, like this one. Another slight difference is at the 22nd fret, this is a little bit wider than this is, maybe like a 32 thousandths of an inch. And of course, I didn't read yet what year they started, but a couple years ago, the Harley Bentons were like this, with symmetric horns that are the same as each other, and they changed it to this one being higher. So they're the same on that, and they're different on this. And I read somewhere, somebody said, yeah, that's because they had a cease and desist order from Gibson to stop copying the SG, but I don't believe that. And I don't believe that if they said, how's this then, Gibson, that Gibson would say, that's enough. Then people know right away that that's not a Gibson by across the store. No. So I don't know why they did it. Maybe Gibson did yell at them or something, but I can't see them saying, okay, that's a lot better, that's acceptable, without saying, okay, you gotta move some more stuff. This has the output jack here rather than here. This one has it here. And SG's differed, I believe, in different years to Gibson's. What else? The strap pin is located in a different place a little bit, just because there probably wasn't enough room on the heel for it here. And some people put it in different places, and they say it's to help prevent the the notoriety that the SG has for diving, because they're unbalanced and the headstock always wants to go down when you're wearing it with the strap. If you let go, they turn. So lots of people put this strap pin in a different place, not of course on the fretboard or on the back of the neck, but it's just dirt. Don't want to hurt my son's guitar. Some people relocate the strap pin to prevent so much head dive. And I guess, I mean, they wouldn't do it if it didn't work, I don't imagine. They're beveled pretty much the same. Stops here, stops here. Okay, the measurements. The lower bout is, okay, I see it now. Is 13 1/8 inch, 10 3/4 inches, and the waist is 9 inches. The Harley Benton, the lower bout is, it's on here on this paper somewhere. Okay, that's 13 inches. This was 13 1/8, so this is 1/8 inch narrower than this. The waist is 9 inches, the same, 9 inches, 9 inches, and the upper bout is 11 inches, 11 inches over here, and that one doesn't have, okay, no, sorry, I really should have started this video again. 13 1/8, 13, 11, 10 3/4, 9 inches, 9 inches. There is a difference between the neck pocket and the end pin. So the Harley Benton measures 16 inches from here to here, and the Epiphone measures only 15 inches from there to there. So now you know the dimensions. And one thing that I did not measure was the width. I will add that to the comments later if it's different. If I measure it and it's quite a bit different, I will put what the difference is, the measurements, in the comments. So that's about it for the cosmetic and physical specs and differences. The angle, the head angle, I don't know how easy it is to eyeball something like that. This might be shallower, but this looks shallower than normal Gibsons too, though. I don't know. Maybe if I can find a way to measure the angle, I'll add that to the notes too. This isn't a one-piece body, so it looks like they might have put a Sapele veneer on there, and on the back, maybe that line on the end isn't really a seam from two pieces of wood being glued together. Sure looks like one though. Oh well. Alright, so I will do a sound test shortly. It will be a separate video. This is getting pretty long. Oh, the bridge, and I checked other ones online, and they've got the screws to adjust the saddles back and forth to adjust the intonation. By the way, the intonation on this thing was perfect, and the action wasn't too bad. I did remove a little bit of neck relief with the truss rod, and I did lower that. I took a rocker to all the frets. That's a device. It's a little straight edge with different lengths so that you can straddle 3 frets at a time, and you rock it back and forth, and if one's high, then you'll feel it or hear it rocking. It's a really cool little unit. It's, you know, it's wider to rock between 3 frets up here, and narrow enough that you can rock you know, these three frets that are closer together. Anyways, not a single fret was tall on this fretboard. This thing had a few that were really tall and some that were loose, so that's why I glued them and didn't scrape off all the paint, so you can see remnants of the paint residue. This Epiphone, so, and I've mentioned my other Epiphone Les Paul 100 times. It was terrible. The action was so high. This action was really high too, but the point is, I had two of those Epiphones, so I was starting to think that Epiphones don't endure very rigid, you know, quality control or inspections like that. They all have the inspector's signature, but if someone inspected and set up those Epiphone Les Pauls, they were, it was their first day or something. And the action was really high, and the problem with this is I've got the saddles all the way as low as they'll go, and it's probably where I'd have it set, but it's just not fun or relaxing knowing that there's no more, you can't go any further. And it doesn't have the locking screws like the Epiphone and Gibson does, so that's so that when you adjust the height, then you can double nut lock it so it doesn't want to start riding down or, you know, whatever. This doesn't have that. And yeah, the tailpiece just seems a little bit like a toy. I haven't pulled this apart yet, but yeah, and those tuners, they're not awesome. The pots feel about the same. There's nothing wrong with that, but again, the output jack, the switch feels fine on both, and yeah, so I'll shut up now, and soon I will go in and do a sound check test, A/B comparison. Thanks for watching. Sorry for long-windedness. I will come back and report if I find all that information, when I go back and listen to what that information is that I said I'd give, if I found it. But yeah, it's just strange that the screws are on the back of most Gibson that I remember ever owning. And sometimes the saddles go in, you have to change their orientation if you have to go, you know, if this had to come any further back and the saddle was in with the high end further forward, you wouldn't be able to just set the intonation, because that is, so they just take that saddle off and turn it around and put it back on. But yeah, this thing was set up really well. The intonation was perfect. Not one fret was even a little bit tall. This thing needed a lot of work. If you didn't have a rocker or know how to adjust and fix some things, you would have spent, I don't know how much a leveling costs, $300 to level, crown, polish, dress, polish. Yeah, if it was just a youngster, it wouldn't have been really playable, and that wouldn't encourage the youngster to keep playing, because it would hurt their fingers and stuff. So yeah, this definitely needed a lot of work, as did the other two Epiphones I had. I still have one. This thing, so maybe the dealer that had this, maybe they set up all their guitars. Maybe when they get them from the factory, they have staff that all day just spends all day setting up and adjusting guitars and getting them ready for sale. That would be nice if that's the way it was. But yeah, this and the other two Epiphones need a lot of work. This one was perfect. Thank you for watching. Please, I don't know, share this page. Come back and check out the sound comparison. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Have a great day. Goodbye.